There are a few moments of clarity in life. There are a few times when things are quiet and your mind is settled. And your mind is settled down and you just know what you think. You see clearly. You can think clearly. You aren't being distracted and pushed off balance by all kinds of frustrations and anxieties and anger and stuff. And I guess those are sort of the moments that we are aiming for most of the time, what we're hoping to reach, just simple clarity. The thing about it is, when you get there you realize how simple it is. But there's always all this crap going around, making us dizzy, keeping us off balance so that we can't think clearly. And that's the main problem in life. People aren't thinking clearly. We live in a whole world full of 7 billion people, and most of them don't think clearly at all, ever. Well, most of them don't think clearly most of the time. Some of them don't ever think clearly. Most people aren't thinking clearly most of the time. And we're all distracted and off balance and kept on the treadmill to prevent us from ever reaching that kind of clear thinking. But when you find yourself in that quiet moment where you realize, oh yeah, it's all very simple and clear and it's like right in front of you. And it's usually quiet. It's gotta be quiet. That's one of the problems. Noise distracts. You can't hear yourself think. It's an expression we use all the time, and it's true. And it gets worse and worse as we get noisier and noisier in a more and more mechanized world with cars and leaf blowers and all this shit making all this noise. And music players and TVs and computers and everything is just more and more noise. And there's no quiet moments anymore. And I find myself, fortunately, here it is, it's 4:15 in the morning, daylight savings time, so really it's 3:15 in the middle of the night, and it's finally quiet on a Friday night. And I feel like I'm seeing things clearly. So that makes me want to actually record what it is I have to say, because that's what we need. We have plenty of people who can do things and produce things day after day, hour after hour. But how few people we have who just simply see clearly, see what's the point. What we have is most of our intelligence of our whole society is devoted to figuring out how to do things and where to do them and when to do them. But why we do them is something that people don't even want to bother having to ask the question, why are we doing it? They can always figure out how to do it. You can always figure out how to make more, how to create a factory that's going to produce this or that object. But whether we actually need that object, whether there's any point or even justification for producing this object, that's a question we don't want to have to face. Don't want to have to deal with questions of value and proportion. And that's the reason why our society is in the fucked up shape it is. Because nobody wants to face those simple questions of value questions, value judgments. And when you reach a moment of clarity, that's when you find yourself able to see clearly what the situation really is. So, why? The question why? We avoid it all. Almost any cost we avoid. We do almost anything to avoid facing the question of why.